Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit freedomlovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really
Here we go, guys. This is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and on UnitedStates.fm network. This is the hour about love. And, I try to reach different topics, to talk about different topics, because love is such a wide, big word, And as I said, this sense of this purpose for this hour is not just to entertain you, but also to try to find out our humanity. Because at the end of the day, our freedom, our guns, it is pretty much just another expression of our humanity. And I really believe that the most important weapon that we have, the most important tool that we have in this dimension, and also in the other dimension, I think it really is love. So it's love that is going to motivate us to do good things and to stand against evil. Now, today, I would like to touch a topic that is also very concerning, not just for people out there, everybody, but especially also for gun owners, and especially for women. I'm talking about domestic violence. Domestic violence, unfortunately, is part of, a love gone bad. You start with hopes, and you have these relationships, and you think, and you think that you have the love of your life, and then out of the blue, you realize that you're living in a nightmare. And most of the times, 99% probably, the domestic violence is pretty much against the weaker sex. I don't believe in weaker sex because I know many women that are stronger mentally and physically than many men. But in general, we want to identify that normally women, they are weaker compared to the average man. I'm talking about the average woman. So in a situation is always can be the victim. But, can be also the other way. Don't get me wrong. I also heard stories of domestic violence of men beaten up by women. So it is for everybody. I always believe violence is wrong. The only violence I accept is when I use it to defend myself in self-defense or to defend freedom. That's it. The rest, I think we are civil people, we have a brain, we should use logic, and there are civil courts to try to take care of civil matters, okay? So it's always something that we need to think. Now, I find disgusting, in my opinion, any man that will pretty much use acts of violence against women. And I also have some personal reasons why. I don't like to talk too much about my personal life, but I think it's important because we are today also the results of our past. I grew up in a divorced family. My mom, she's been a great mom. And my dad, bless his soul, he had some problems, okay? And I'm sure he wanted us well, he loved us, but, unfortunately, I witnessed with my own eyes domestic violence. And I really believe something that no child should ever witness. There's nothing more disgusting to see a man, in this case your father, beating the crap out of your mother. I think this is disgusting. And that's why probably I grew up always with even with my, weaknesses, because I'm not perfect, but I never touched a woman with a finger in all my life. And I may scream, I may tell you, go to hell. Most of the time I just leave the house, but I never touch a woman, and I will never do. Because I promised myself when I witness this monstrosity, having my mother beaten up, I realized this is so disgusting, and I really felt bad. And I grew up with a sense of almost, I don't want to call it anger, but I felt very bad. I wanted to punch my father, and that wasn't right either. But at the same time, I wanted to defend my mom. So this is just a little bit to show you my little side of humanity, where I'm coming from. Now, today I have a person that, unfortunately, she been going through this, and she also a gun owner. So I really like to have her input, her feedback, to see exactly what means to be a victim of a domestic violence, and also what means how to pretty much find the strength and the courage to get out of that condition and to also heal, try to feel better, get better, because there's a lot of trauma, and I'm not just talking about physical trauma. So her name is Shannon Jameson from Kentucky. Shannon, are you there?
I am here, Luca. Hello, how are you?
Very good, very good. I really appreciate, by the way, you coming on the air, because I know this can be kind of a private topic, something that sometimes can be, I don't know. I mean, I don't even like to talk about my mom and my dad, but I think it's something that unfortunately happened to many of us. And I think maybe talking about this, we can avoid new generation of dramas like this. Domestic violence is bad, and I think happen any generation. Of course, Italy may be maybe something cultural, especially in the past, a little more, but there is no excuse. I always say there is no excuse to hit a woman. Tell us a little bit about yourself as a woman, also as a mother, and your past experience with this domestic violence abuse that you had.
I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I did not witness that growing up. My father, God rest his soul, served in the Navy, and my mother worked very, very hard, and I'm the youngest of the children. I have three older brothers, and my parents divorced at an early age. I was 9 when we relocated to North Carolina, but I didn't have perfect parents, but they did the very, very best that they could for me. And in domestic violence, if more women and men, you are correct, can speak out and empower one another, I believe that is where the healing begins. It begins with love, loving one another, and taking the time to talk about it and to open up ourselves to one another. My relationship with my experience with domestic violence was, years ago, and I am not ashamed to let anyone know what happened. It was physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and it ended with a gun being held to my head for 10 hours before I could leave. And
Wow.
Once I got out of that situation, I did go seek counseling. I did go and get help. And I became empowered by that. And the power of prayer and the power of talking about it. The more I talk about it, the stronger I got. And if that can help one person to leave, or to know there's always a way out. And it does take strength, and it does take perseverance. And that is one thing that my father, God bless him, God rest his soul, taught me early on, was to never give up and never give in. And, I have not given up on life. I have not given up on love. I have not given up on God. And I've not given up on my right to own a firearm. I do own a firearm, as you said, for personal safety. Personal safety. I am now not only a mother, but a grandmother of a beautiful 6-month-old baby boy. And I have also, my daughter is armed, and she knows how to use a weapon for self-protection. So if we can pass it on from generation to generation, I think we empower one another, male and female.
Now, I have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind. This is so important. First of all, your domestic violence situation that was in the past, I guess was a few years ago, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That person that was perpetrating this violence was your husband, or you were married? How exactly you were related, if I can ask you?
We were engaged.
Engaged.
We were engaged.
And thankfully, you didn't make it to the altar, correct?
We did not.
I think that was
We did not.
probably was good, so you save money on lawyers later on, I guess.
Very true. Very true. We did not get married.
Now, and that's pretty much right there. There is not, domestic violence, as I said, can be very graphic, can be very physical, can be even just a slap on the face, of course, and can be also to a new level of things that people died. Okay, so it's something that I believe there is a human component in all of us. We have all our weaknesses, and if somebody understands that there's some problems with rage, they need to find help. And the best help probably they could find, start to realize that they have a problem, because sometimes ignoring the problem, and the moment that you touch another person without any type of excuse that means self-defense, you have a serious problem, and you should stop in your track. Now, I have a friend, a lady friend from Mojave County here, and remember a few years ago, she's a single lady, and she's a senior lady, and she was married once, and she had a domestic case situation with her ex-husband, and she was pretty much the victim. She was beaten up, and years later, after she was trying to buy a handgun here in Arizona, unfortunately, the FBI put her on hold because she was a part of this domestic violence situation. Now, I don't know if that was a glitch or not, but I remember that she had to pretty much get an attorney to clear that up. Even she was just a victim. The moment that she was part of this domestic violence, the law, pretty much didn't make much a distinction, and she had to fight to get her gun right. So I'm glad for you that didn't happen to you, but I heard few more than one case that unfortunately, if you are a gun owner and you're involved in domestic violence, even if you are not charged, even if you are not the perpetrator, you could be pretty much put in the same bundle. So all I can say out there, this is from my personal humble experience as a human being. If you see that there is some sort of an escalation of feelings and emotions, they bring some destructive energy out there in their room, just leave the room, leave the house, get out of there. What would be your suggestion to a woman or to a man that understands that they are approaching a type of a very negative moment? What would you do again to do it better as a victim of a domestic violence?
Oh, look, there are so many red flags to look for. So many things that we learn. The explosive temper, the emotional abuse for men and women can oftentimes be worse and more. What is the word I'm looking for? More destructive to the soul than the physical abuse, because there were many times in my relationship that I thought I would rather you hit me and get it over with than to talk to me the way you do. And, this was back in the early 2004, 2005. So it's been years ago. But, to see those red flags, if someone speaks to you in a derogatory manner or cannot contain their temper or tries to control you, pick up on those. There are so many resources to look for, so many things. And number one, for men and women, take care of yourself, your soul. Know what is good for you. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't look right, if it doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. And that is what I have learned over the years, is to trust my instinct, to trust what my heart and my God tell me when I pray. And
that's true.
Anything unhealthy, if you can get away, there are resources, there are places to go for safety and your life and your health and the well-being of you and your children, whether you be male or female, and future generations depends on the decisions that we make. You're absolutely correct.
Yes, and if I can say something, I agree with you. There is a point that there is denial, and it's part of a human component. Sometimes we are in denial. We don't want to admit reality. We want to wish that everything is the way we dreamt, and idealize it, And that's the worst thing, I really believe. And also sometimes there are components. I can speak for myself in the case with my family. My mom, she had 2 little children, and she really wanted to give a chance to my dad to understand and to get better. But there is a point when somebody, realize that it's not going to get better. And reality, as much as it hurts, it's better to face it and move on, and try to cut the loss, because that can be worse, even for the children, I really believe. I believe that if I had a child, if I had a family in this common sense way, like, the last thing I would like to submit my children to envision, first of all, fighting. I think it's wrong. That's why I don't even like to fight. I like to leave the room. I know probably people think you should stay there and face it. I don't even like the confrontations anymore. I'm at this point that when I hear somebody raising the voice, I don't like it. more importantly, I think it would be the most disgusting thing to leave as a legacy, or leave in the imprint of a child brain, the father or the mother, doesn't matter, hitting the spouse. That would be so terrible. But, one thing I want to say out there, if you're a woman, especially a woman, I said, because most of the women, unfortunately, they don't have the physical strength that a man could have and can have, and you really think that you are in danger, and you have, pretty much threat, you've been beaten up, you were sent to the hospital, the next time maybe you could lose an eye, you could go to the hospital, stay on the wheelchair, or just die. And you rely just on the judicial system, this court of restraining order. Think again. I mean, can you tell us something? Did you ever have a chance to go through the restraining orders out there?
And I did, and it is often used, I think, as a cliche, but it's very true. Luca, it is a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
A restraining order will not stop someone who is out to harm another human being, male or female. That piece of paper, be it legal, will not stop them if they are. That was my experience. Mm-hmm. It did not stop him. It was not until I completely, and I am like you. Don't raise there's no need to raise your voice. There's no need. I would rather walk away, take a walk, take a breath, go away for the weekend, go away. And thank God my daughter did not witness what happened. I thank God for that. But you are correct. We can go to court, men and women, take out a restraining order, but at the end of the day, it is a piece of paper. And a lot of times, abusers, men and women, overlook that piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything to them when their anger and their hatred overtakes their heart.
Yeah.
They're on a mission to hurt and to harm.
Yeah, and at a point it becomes almost like a madness. There is no more logic. I think we have, there is a song of the In Excess. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called The Devil Inside. Every one of us has the devil inside. I mean, every one of us has like the good angel and the bad angel. This is in my own little understanding how pretty much we are made as humans. We have the good part of us that most of the time we try to keep it in balance and pretty much control us, and then there is always a little bad part of us as a human being that try to get out and sneak out there, and when find weaknesses that could be also created by substance abuse, could be alcohol, could be other factors. That's where you lose the control, and that's where we become probably the beast that the devil is taking over us. And if guys out there, you don't believe in the devil, that's fine. Call it evil, whatever you want to call it. So I really believe that something that we need to, to control. More importantly, some people, I believe that they are more propense, and there are also some medical conditions. I mean, I'm not here to give medical advices, but I really believe some people need help, I don't really put much faith into the psychiatric system. I believe it creates more trouble, in my opinion, than really what cures, but try to find some help from friends, maybe from a church or from family, something. But you need to stay away from a relationship if that's the case. That's my humble opinion. Now, as a gun owner, pretty much you started to have a gun when you were under this situation of domestic violence or after?
Oh, no. My father taught me very, very young, very early, how to properly use a firearm. He taught me to hunt. He taught me to shoot. I had a weapon in my hand being trained properly when I was a young child.
Wow.
So it was not the domestic violence that has always been a part of my life. We believed in God. Our family believed in God, guns, and freedom.
Wow.
And my father, being that he was in the Navy, we have a great respect for our veterans, and we, one thing that you were mentioning about alcoholism and whatnot, and I am not ashamed to admit this either. Today is a very special day, and I'm glad we did this interview. Mm-hmm. April 11th of 1999, I took what, God willing, will be my last drink.
Wow.
So today makes, 16 years and 4 months.
Wow.
That I have not taken a drink. And, when I was drinking, was my behavior, unacceptable to me, absolutely. But God gave me the strength to get sober. and that was one strength he did not give my ex, the man who abused me, and I feel badly for him that he could not find that strength and keep it.
Wow.
Um,
And can I say
but
something?
no, I have been around firearms all my life. Never had a fear of them. Never. I was taught to respect them at a very early age.
Good.
Very early.
Let me ask you a question, Shannon. This show is also about guns, and normally, the second hour we get more technical, heavy. This is the hour about love, but I'm always curious, and if you don't mind, you can always say, private answer. You don't need to answer. What is your favorite handgun that you chose for your personal defense? So, because you're a woman, last Sunday I had pretty much a show about, and 2 Sundays ago, about what is the best, or at least what is my opinion about what could be the good handgun for a woman. And of course, everybody has different choices and different type of hands. But what is your gun, your favorite gun that you like?
Right now, I have a Ruger P93.
Okay, very interesting.
And I also have a Glock. Mm-hmm. But I am looking at the new Glock 43. It is very small, very compact. I've not been able to purchase that yet.
Yeah, kind of hard.
The bigger firearms, I look into the shotgun. I have shot those. I've gone, they don't belong to me, but I've gone out and used just about every weapon, and I'm willing to learn.
Very
I'm
good.
very, very teachable in that aspect. I do not expect, to pick up a firearm and automatically know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
That can be, to me, I was raised that can be very dangerous. So, when I have family members that come over with different types of weapons that they have, I get that proper training. I will go to a gun range. I will go to an expert and say, train me with this. Let me learn. And then I can pass that on to other women and to my daughter or to other men or to other friends or family who might be afraid of a firearm. Because there really is truly nothing to fear about. And being raised that way, I'm now 45, so it's been years that I've not, been exposed to that. And it is a right. It is a God-given right for us all to keep and bear arms. All of us.
Very good, very good. So you are pretty much a 9mm, and I would like to share with you any information that normally I share with all my listeners. I like to dig out, like a little dog, like a hunting dog, going looking for the best deals out there, okay? And when I bring them on my show, they are not even sponsors. I just like to give the opportunity to everybody out there to get the best prices, saving money, and get good stuff. Like, for example, ammunition. You need to feed your gun, especially to train. And ammo, we know, getting kind of expensive lately, or at least they used to. Now, for 9mm, I found the best deal on the internet, and everybody, if they want, they can write it down. It's 1,000 round of 9mm Luger, 115 grain, full metal jacket, the steel case, the Wolf from Russia, for $179.80. With no sale tax unless they ship from the state where this company is, and I will give you the name of this company, and you just pay only $16. So let's say for less than $200, less than $10 a box of 50 rounds, you can get very good practice ammo. I use the Wolf very often, and I never had a problem. And I tell you, for practice, in today's market, I think it's a very good price. What do you think about $180 for 1,000 round on 9mm compared to the prices where you pretty much shop there in Kentucky?
That is really not a bad price, and there are many locations around that locally. Mm-hmm. If you go shop at your local gun store, wow, your local shooting range, your local ammunition store. They have deals all the time. All the time. And I know there are rumors that have been going around that we're running short on ammo, we're running out of ammo. I have not found that anywhere. I have not found, personally here, that we're running short or being bought out, or a lot of people going out and buying in bulk. Absolutely. And that is their right. Yes. To do so.
Yes. Of course, there is still a scarcity, in some caliber, like the 22, I remember like 6-7 years ago, I started like exactly 10 years ago. Every time I used to go to Walmart to buy, I don't know, whatever, I always used to get a box of a brick of 22, the 525 rounds at the time, the federal, for like $9, stuff like that. And I was getting
Right.
obsessed.
I remember.
They used to make fun of me, the cashier at the Sports and Good. They used to almost laugh there because pretty much was what's going on, another box of ammo. And for me, it was like, instead I don't go to bars, I don't do other things, and there was my little money that I used to do that. And then I started to pretty much build my little 22 castle because I really used to use them like bricks, okay? Anyway, and the funny thing was, and years later, the same cashier that used to laugh at me, and he's almost say, oh my gosh, maybe you got psychic powers. No, I don't. But honestly, unfortunately, you realize that ammunition is a commodity, and there is always a demand and an offer and demand. You never know. A different situation can create more demand. Could be panic, could be political scenarios. So, and I always say, especially if you like to practice and you want to train people that they're new to guns, and also I like it a lot for several reasons, the 22 caliber. I think it's a great way to start to diversify your assets. People say, silver and gold, great. I always say silver, gold, and lead, or copper in this case. But this is just a little bit of a side story. Talking about the alcohol, something that I would like to share with you, because I realized that coming from Italy, that don't get me wrong, there are alcohol problems everywhere in the world, even in Italy. But many of us, or at least the majority of society there, let's put it this way, we drink mostly for not even social. It's almost like food, okay? I mean, I talk a lot about wine during my show, and it is pretty much every meal I have at least a couple glasses of wine. And people think sometimes, oh my gosh, you must be an alcoholic. Oh my gosh, you must be some sort of addict. No, I use wine like I would use, I don't know, some other things I use in my food. For me, just a way to enjoy my food. And that's what I found out differently from the average Italian to the average American culture, that alcohol instead here almost get used to get blasted, or at least wasted, to get drunk. As much as I may drink my wine, I never get drunk. What do you think? Am I wrong on this, or just my sensation? I mean, something that, am I saying something that is off, or you think there is some truth into this? We have to differ.
No. I have friends, very, very dear friends of mine, that have a glass of wine after work, or a couple of glasses of wine after dinner.
Okay.
That is part of your culture. That is, and in America it is as well. There are many American friends of mine that are American and you can tell by my name that I'm Irish. My father wanted everyone to know that we were Irish. And, we drank when I was younger. Just because you have a drink or two at dinner, there's a very, very big difference between. Mine was, once I started, I could not stop. Mm-hmm. And that is where it became a problem.
Yes.
I can go out today with friends and they're drinking and they're tipsy and they're having a good time. Mm-hmm. I don't drink. The next day they get up, they go to work, they function. That was not what happened to me.
Yeah, I understand.
That was my own personal experience. Well, but no, I think that is a freedom as well. And from what I've heard in Italy, you're right. You are correct. We have friends from Greece who are, they have their wine, their special beer, their brand of whatever, and that is part of their meal. Almost like we would use a spice on a food.
Exactly.
That is part of enjoying your meal.
That's true. But anyway, regardless, whatever you do, always do it with moderation and in a way that you're always in control. Because that's for me the bottom line. I don't care if you smoke a plant or if you drink wine. Whatever you do it always with the safety that you want to guarantee others people's safety. And already, people know my opinion about everything. It is not just about the alcohol. It's about the right to do to your body what you think is right, but it's always with the respect of other people out there. So that's the bottom line. And by the way, it's funny because I'm one of the biggest advocates, or at least biggest. I pretty much very passionate about the idea that people should have the right to, in my opinion, to drink a glass of wine if they want to drink whatever they want, also to smoke whatever they want. But the point is they need to do it with the respect of others. And I don't even smoke anything. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke herbs. I tried one time to smoke sage, and that was very bad experience anyway. By the way, it's serious. People think so much about marijuana. I got news for you. If you want to go into that type of rabbit hole, if you smoke sage, that is considered a legal plant, you're going to have really bad visions, and it's terrible for you. So it's always question about freedom and be responsible for your own actions. That's the bottom line. Shannon, I want to give you the floor. Whatever you want to say, and I really want to thank you, first of all, to be open to us, your experience, and I hope other people, other women especially, that going through what you went through can find the strength to stop this terrible situation and find help. And also don't forget, you want to empower yourself. Don't be a victim. Buy a weapon, buy a handgun, and train and learn how to use it, because that's going to be probably the best tool to defend yourself against the evil in general and violence. And a restraining order could be good to put on the wall and stare at that. But at the end of the day, it's not going to save you. So please give us your. I'll give you the floor. Whatever you want to say.
Well, you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. We, as free men and women, whether we be from Italy or America or Greece or wherever, it is about freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom. If someone wants to smoke, they should have the right to do that. If someone wants to drink, they should have the right to do that. And take care of our bodies. Just like you said, I go to the gym. There are weekends, Luca, that I will leave town and go out down onto some land that we have in another county with 2 other very strong women, and we go down there and we just have quiet time. We train, we talk, we exchange ideas, we empower one another. And that is so very, very important, that men and women both can empower one another instead of, there's a lot of division going on in our country right now, as you can see. It's color against color and race against race. And for me, we're all one. Exactly. We're all in this together. And we're all about freedom and love and about our God. And it doesn't have to be, and I see so many people criticizing, well, your opinion of God is not right because it's not my opinion of God. We choose our own conception of God. Mm-hmm. That is my opinion. And personally, I was raised Catholic. That is how I view my God. Mm-hmm. But everyone has a right to whatever works for them. Their spirituality is what's important. And it may not be the God that we understand. Mm-hmm. But that is and again, religious freedom is another very, very important factor.
Exactly.
And in our lives, I do believe that.
Let me just close with this. There is a place that I had a vision last year. I wanted to create a place for people who respect each other, who have the same type of belief of freedom, at least, to be free and to do everything you want until you infringe on somebody else's rights. And also not just to network, because I think the first thing would be to find friends or like-minded people, but also to find maybe the love of your life or to find maybe your companion. I created this website. It's called freedomlovers.us. And it's 100% free because somebody else is paying. It's pretty much my act of love I share with you guys, my listeners. And you can go to freedomlovers.us, create an account, upload your photos, upload your videos, and start to look for friends. Start to look for like-minded people in your community. And the idea would be also to find maybe a special friend. But if you're already engaged, or if you already have a boyfriend or a wife or husband, whatever, you can also just go there to network, to maybe sell or write a blog or try to share what you learn about different topics. There are also free classified section, and there's also a video messenger section. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and I hope you can appreciate it, listeners, and go there. And doing that and spreading this concept out, you also will spread the concept of this radio show, Love, Guns, and Freedom. Now, Shannon, I want to give you a hug, and I really want to thank you for your witnessing everything, and my best for you and to your family, okay?
Oh, and a hug back and my best to you and your family, and may God bless you and God bless America, and may we all stay free. That is my prayer at the end of the day.
Perfect. And I have
truly, and I'm grateful for the very strong women and men that I have in my life. And I am honored to know you, Luca. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. I have a song that I wrote and I'll dedicate it to you. You're listening to Love, Guns,
Oh,
and Freedom, and don't go away because the final part of this hour is going to be more about love, and I will have a special guest, and we will talk about the Kama Sutra. And don't get me wrong, it is not just the porn stuff. It's much more deeper than what we can imagine. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Sometimes in life you lose your way. You feel alone with all your pain. You see no hope. You have no faith. Just please hold on. Things are gonna change. There's